Legs crossed, back straight, eyes closed. Breathing in through our noses and out through our mouth. Bringing our energy in control, our thoughts in control. At any given moment in time, we take control of our breathing. We take control of our thoughts. So right now, let's see ourselves. Let's see it in our minds so clearly that it feels real. Let's see ourselves doing the best we can on all the exercises and stretches and movements we do today together. Feel the power of that determination, your determination, your power to determine, to take control of your breathing, your mind, your body, and your life. It's the same power we can use to control our destiny, our future. See, you are so powerful, you get to go into the future. You get to see in your mind what you want to bring out into the world and make real. Right here, right now, in the present, the greatest gift we have, always. So let's go, determination. Let's go. Determine. See it in your mind. Don't choose and lose. Determine and win. See it in your mind. Yourself doing the best you can, not just here and now, but always in the gym of life. You grow your mind all the time.
This shit that ice cold Michelle fight for that white gold. This one for them hood girls, them good girls, straight masterpieces. Stylin', wildin', living it up in the city. Got Chuck's on with Saint Laurent. Gotta kiss myself, I'm so pretty. I'm too hot. Call the police and the fireman. I'm too hot. Make a dragon wanna retire, man. I'm too hot. Say my name, you know who I am. I'm too hot. And my band bought that money. Break it down. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Saturday night and we in the spot. Don't believe me, just watch. Come on. Don't believe me, just watch. 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 hallelujah. Girls hit you hallelujah. Girls hit you hallelujah. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Saturday night and we in the spot. Don't believe me, just watch. Come on. Don't believe me, just watch. 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 Hey, 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 oh! Before we leave, let me tell y'all a little something. Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. I said uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. Come on, dance, jump on it. If you sexed and flown it. If you freak dead and own it. Don't brag about it, come show me. Come on, dance, jump on it. If you've sexed and flown it. Well, it's Saturday night and we in the spot. Don't believe me, just watch. Come on. Don't believe me, just watch. 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 Hey, 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 oh! It might seem crazy what I'm about to say.
Pellegrini decides to hit one! Genius! Oh, that's special!
Good morning, guys. When I look at my life and when I think and feel how I am right now, the path of mind wealth that I'm on, just how happy, how free, how peaceful I feel right now, I want everybody in the world to feel the happiness I feel right now within me. But I always think, how on earth is it possible that I got to this point when I look at the challenges and struggles I faced in my life? And I know they're nothing compared to some of the ones you might be going through or other people have gone through. But the key is this: embrace the struggle. That's the key. Whatever challenge you're going through, whatever stress, whatever anxiety, understand that there's a reason it's going after you. Don't fight it. Let it come in. Don't be destroyed by it. Fight it, but know that it's there, but seeking you because you are a miracle. You are 1 in 400 trillion. It wants you because it's going to help improve you. Have a great day, everybody.
It is so good to see you all. I'm excited about this topic of finishing the year strong because I feel like so often people get into the fourth quarter of the year and this is the toughest time. I mean, you really have to be on your A game in the fourth quarter of the year because you're coming up on, for those of you who have kids, the Halloween time. I've got 3 kids, 8, 10, and 12, the Halloween time with candy. We get into Thanksgiving with all the Thanksgiving food and all that stuff. And then we start stressing out and worrying about all the Christmas presents. We get into the holiday season. And what so often happens is those goals that we built in January, February, you know, when we've already haven't done great during the year, we get to the last 3 months of the year and we go, well, just forget it. You know, I'm just gonna lay into it. I'll give myself a break and just eat all this food. And this is when we put on weight, when we struggle, when we make poor decisions. And what I'm going to challenge you all to do today is to say, you know what? No, I'm going to make the fourth quarter of the year the best quarter of the year that I have. I'm not just going to go with the flow. I'm going to make this the best quarter of the year that I can possibly have. And I'll tell you, one of the reasons that I'm excited about this today is because I was looking at my Q3, at my third quarter, and I didn't use 2 years ago look at things in terms of quarters of the year, but I do now probably because of my business, but I also look at it in my personal life. And the third quarter of the year, I really struggled with a lot of things. I turned 40 last month, and I know I'd had a goal for a while to make 40 to be in the best shape of my life when I turned 40. And guess what? I failed miserably at that goal. Not that I was in bad shape, but I had injuries like this. This happened like 3 weeks ago, where I was playing soccer indoors on a turf that has like concrete underneath it, full speed. Somebody trips me up. I go slam down into the ground, sprained my wrist, sprained my elbow. I'm glad this wasn't 2 weeks ago because I could barely move 2 weeks ago. I was in so much pain. I did that. I sprained my ankle earlier in the quarter. My kids were sick this quarter. I was sick when I sprained my elbow because, when you get hurt, I wasn't sleeping. And so this was just a rough quarter for me. And I just had to stop and go, hey, you know what? Look, this was tough. I got to stop and acknowledge what's happened, acknowledge it's been tough, let go of some things so that I can move forward. And so what we're going to do today is to really stop and take a look at what we have, how things are going so far this year, and build on the energy and refocus ourselves for the fourth quarter of the year. Life is too short to just give up 3 months to Thanksgiving and Christmas and the stress and the anxiety and all that stuff. This is really the time to get refocused and bring our A game to what we're doing. So here's what we're going to start with. Step number one in this process is always going to be to review and acknowledge, right? So this is something I do in my Tapping Nutrition Planner. I know for all of you now in the Growth Day app, it's such an amazing place to do it right now, to be able to journal in there. And so I look at now going into the fourth quarter of the year, as I stop and I go, what were those goals that I started the year with? If you think about January, when you were all motivated and excited and you got into the new year, what were some of those goals that you had? And did you actually move forward with those goals in the way that you wanted, right? How do you think you've done so far this year? And there's two ways that we're going to look at this. Number one is we're going to look at what didn't you accomplish, right? What didn't go well? What didn't go well, and goals that you set where you feel like, I just didn't accomplish that. The other side of this, and this is a part that's always ignored, and it's just kind of the way our brains work. For those of you who know about the negativity bias, we always seem to find the things that are wrong. But we also have to look at what did you accomplish, right? What did you accomplish? What went well for you? And I'll tell you, this is a process that I do every 2 weeks in my planner. I will not only write down the things from those past 2 weeks that I didn't do well, that I didn't accomplish, but I really make sure to look at, well, what did I accomplish? So that I can celebrate that, because that is one of the biggest challenges that we all have, is we'll have these amazing accomplishments, amazing things that we do, and we just blow it off and go, yeah, but I know I got that done, but so what? I didn't get this done, and this done, and this done, and this done, and this done. And it's really difficult to build self-confidence and to build momentum when our brains are always finding what's wrong, when we're not stopping to acknowledge the things that are going well in our lives. And so it is super important now going into this, we're already in the fourth quarter, it's October 7th, but if you haven't done it yet, to stop and to review and acknowledge what's been going on. So what were those goals that you had in the first place? If you haven't looked at those goals, or you never set those goals, maybe now is the time to do that for the last 3 months of the year, to go, you know what if I want to make 2022 the best year possible, now's the time to start. Now's the time to start and get motivated and get focused on what you want to get done. So we start off by saying, what were those goals we had in the first place? What didn't I accomplish? What didn't go well? And then what things did I accomplish that I need to celebrate? One of the most common things that I hear people say all the time is that I'm not far along enough, right? This is a common belief that probably 99% of the people have, unless they happen to have a super focused 3 months or 6 months or year, is they feel like they are not as far along as they should be. So we have to start off from that place of just going, step number one, I'm going to review and acknowledge how I've done this year. I'm not just going to go into the fourth quarter, ignoring it all. I'm going to stop, look at it. What are the things that I've done that are good? What are the things that I've done that are not good? And able to move forward.
Sunshine, she's here. You can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space with the air, like I don't care, baby. By the way, because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Well, give me all you got and don't hold it back. Well, I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. No offense to you, don't waste your time. Here's why. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Bring me down, can't none bring me down. Your love is too high. Bring me down, can't none bring me down. I said, bring me down, can't none bring me down. Your love is too high. Bring me down, can't none bring me down. I said, clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Bring me down, can't none bring me down. Your love is too high. Bring me down, can't none bring me down. I said, because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Hey, clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do.
Yo, DJ Rafi, you ready? Angulo, Angulo, qué golazo va a ser Angulo, qué golazo va a ser Angulo, qué golazo va a ser Angulo. Una tragedia, le estoy diciendo, no
Morning, guys. It's amazing to me how some of the things in life connect to economics and connect to the way we live. So today in our top 10 rules for success, Robert Kiyosaki shares his rule, his fifth rule, which is hard times bring opportunities. And this is so true. And again, it fits with what we're trying to build here. We're trying to build infinite mind wealth. That's our true destiny. And it's amazing when we look at the way we handle our money, the way we think about money. You know, Robert Kiyosaki today talks about how times of depression, economic depression, bring opportunities, but most people don't look at it that way. We get scared, we let fear to kick in, and we lose out opportunities. You know, so that kind of thinking is the same in life. Your hardest times will bring your greatest opportunities, but it's a choice you make to not let fear stop you. I hope this helps everyone. Have a great day.
So then when a person's sitting in a meditation and they're doing absolutely nothing, and it's 8 o'clock in the morning, and their body for the last 10 years has been going in traffic and getting angry and frustrated in traffic, and now they're sitting in a meditation at 8 o'clock in the morning, the body's gonna say, hey, you're off schedule. So the body's gonna start looking for that emotion, and it's gonna start influencing the mind, and you're gonna start getting images and memories, just so you can feel that emotion. Like now, the person's back in the past, but if they become aware that they're siphoning energy out of the present moment into the past, and they settle the body back down into the present moment, that's a victory. And those victories add up. And you're telling the body in that moment that it's no longer the mind, that you're the mind, and that's a victory. And then people get frustrated and they say, I can't meditate. Oh, really? Well, actually, you're doing it right. That's actually what meditation is. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. And then all of a sudden the body says, well, it's 8:15 now. This is when you normally, go get something to eat, and you have your coffee, and your body's starting to want to get up and do something. You become aware that your body wants to get up and move, and you're in the meditation, and you tell your body, you bring it back to the present moment, and you settle it back down. You are training the animal. That's a victory. Now you're executing a will that's greater than the program, because most people lose their free will to a program. Now you're telling the body, I'll tell you when we get up, not when you want to get up. You're not the mind, I'm the mind, and that's a victory.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because in my first business, I struggled to stay afloat. I quit on my business partner, and the thing that kept me motivated, that kept me going, was studying the stories of famous, successful entrepreneurs. And in their stories, it gave me the hope, the drive, the ambition, the thinking that maybe I can do it too, that extra bit of belief. And I still need their stories today, and I'm honored to share them with you here as well. So today, let's learn how to meditate. Enjoy.
We've done the research on this. If you keep doing this and you stay with it, sooner or later, the body's going to surrender to a new mind. And when that happens, Sean, there's a liberation of energy. The body is freed from those habituations and those emotions. The body's going from particle to wave, from matter to energy. And all of a sudden, you're dialing down the anger. You're dialing down the vigilance. And the body now is being conditioned to a new mind. That is the present moment. And when you're in that present moment, something really amazing happens. You forget about you. All of a sudden, you're not your face, you're not your culture, you're not your marital status, you're not your diet, you're not your past. You're basically just an awareness. You're in the unknown, and that is the perfect place to create from. So it turns out that when people do this properly, they heal themselves of anxiety. Why? Because they're no longer obsessing about some future. When they find the present moment, they heal from their depression because they're not a bit hopeless and powerless in their past. The body's conditioned now. And so then, when they overcome themselves in their meditation and they step out into their life, they are more present. They can connect. They are more patient. They are more loving because they overcome the animal part of themselves. And the beauty behind that is that all of a sudden, you're not predictable. All of a sudden, something's different about Sean. He's not, I'm noticing he's not behaving the same way. You're out of the known, right? You're in the unknown. And all of a sudden, people, it's no longer what you're saying to them. It's who you are. They're just kind of scratching their head going, hey, he looks like he's really happy. I want some of that. And now we're out of the philosophical, theoretical realm. We're in the practicum, which is where really the magic happens. So the eternal present moment, the sweet spot of the generous present moment, is the place we can create from. And when we're there, we disconnect from our bodies. We become nobody. We disconnect from people in our lives. We're not thinking about our ex or our boss. We are no one. We're not thinking about our cell phone or our computer. We are no thing. We are not thinking about where we live, where we work, where we sleep. We are nowhere. And we're not thinking about the predictable future and the familiar past. We're in no time. And when you're disconnecting or dissociating from everything known, you're in the unknown. And that's where the magic happens.
I have found in the absolute worst times of my life, meditation can get me back to zero every single time, meaning I have absolutely no physiological remnants of stress or anxiety. It is so amazing and so powerful that I only wish that I'd started doing it years earlier. And it was Mark Divine, the Navy SEAL that I was talking about before, that helped me realize, because I thought of it as very weak and effeminate, which growing up feeling like a weak, effeminate kid, getting tough and getting stronger has been a huge part of my journey. So I didn't want to do anything that I felt was moving me backwards. Now, he was the one that slapped me around and was like, look, it just makes sense. It's getting you out of that sympathetic and into the parasympathetic. And so I thought, well, if it's good enough for a Navy SEAL, then it's good enough for me. I tried it and it was life-changing. And there have been times in my life since I started meditating, I honestly don't know how I would have made it through if I didn't have meditation, because that ability to get back to equilibrium, to zero with what I call no background radiation, it's so powerful. So meditation has become a huge way for me to manage anxiety, which is really, really powerful. So there it is. And I will do one quick cycle so you can see how deadly simple it is. I normally sit cross-legged, so take that for what it's worth, but I'll do it just normally seated now. I do it with my eyes closed, and I breathe in through my nose, out through my mouth, and it looks like this. Hey, there it is. All right, nice and easy. I did the second part of the cycle so you can see how long that I usually end up holding that exhale hold. Again, I just do it until it's not pleasurable anymore. I don't feel like I'm holding my breath. It literally just feels like an exhale. And it's so weird. Even in that short cycle, I almost forgot I was doing an AMA. That's how powerful meditation has become for me. I get lost so rapidly. If I'd had, this is the last thing I do when I meditate. I put headphones on, over the ear headphones, and I listen to the Calm app. I do not do guided meditation. Some people love it. I absolutely hate it. And I listen to the sounds of nature, and I find that insanely powerful. And if I had had my headphones on, I do fear that I actually would have forgotten I was doing this. But that's how quickly you can, with practice, and I've been doing it now for about 3 years, with practice, you can get into a super chill state.
Meditation is very, very simple in the simplest sense. The simplest meditation nowadays that's taught is 15 minutes in the morning, 15 at night. Sit down and watch your breath go in and out. Well, what's so holy about watching your breath go in and out? If you are watching your breath go in and out, you are not watching your mind complain about what's going on. You're not letting your mind, you're not watching the mind that is participating in the game of what do I want, what do I not want, and how do I make it happen.
I'm ready. Are you guys ready?
Let's go!
We shake it off. Now turn around. We don't let no bad vibes get in our way. Put your hands up in the air. When we dance, we don't care. Wave left, now right. Then turn around and one more time.
Shake it off, turn around. Don't let bad vibes get you down. Put your hands up, wave left to right. Then bring it all back to the other side. Shake it off, turn around. Don't let bad vibes get you down. Put your hands up, wave left to right. Then bring it all back to the other side.
Shake it up, turn around. Don't let bad vibes get you down. Put your hands up, wave left to right. Then bring it all back to the other side. Shake it up, turn around. Don't let bad vibes get you down. Put your hands up, wave left to right. Then bring it all back to the other side. Some days you'll feel like you're on top, but some days go down like a big old flop. But I know what to do when I'm feeling blue. I just gotta feel the groove. Don't care what others say. No one's gonna ruin my day. Put a smile on, don't be shy. Begin to dance, it's worth a try.
Shake it off, turn around. Don't let bad vibes get you down. Put your hands up, wave left to right. Then bring it all back to the other side. Shake it off, turn around. Don't let bad vibes get you down. Put your hands up, wave left to right. Then bring it all back to the other side.
Shake it up, turn around. Don't let bad vibes get you down. Put your hands up, wave left to right. Then bring it all back to the other side. Shake it up, turn around. Don't let bad vibes get you down. Put your hands up, wave left to right. Then bring it all back to the other side. We shake it off. Now turn around. We don't let no bad vibes get in our way. Put your hands up in the air. When we dance, we don't care.
wave left, now right. Then turn around and one more time. Shake it off, turn around. Don't let bad vibes get you down. Put your hands up, wave left to right. Then bring it all back to the other side. Shake it off, turn around. Don't let bad vibes get you down. Put your hands up, wave left to right. Then bring it all back to the other side.
Shake it up, turn around. Don't let bad vibes get you down. Put your hands up, wave left to right. Then bring it all back to the other side. Shake it up, turn around. Don't let bad vibes get you down. Put your hands up, wave left to right. Then bring it all back to the other side.
Shake it off,
Turn around.
put your hands up, wave left to right. Turn it around. Shake it off, shake it off, shake it off, shake it off.
Now turn around. We don't let no bad vibes get in our way.
Cerca acolo un 2 contra 1, dar Tavi Popescu are altă idee și are o idee genială. Șutul este fantastic!
Good morning, guys. I'm going to share another story from Les Brown, one of my favorites. This guy is awesome. I want to share a story when he talks about being hungry. So being hungry for me, it's determination. I love this stuff. This is my core. I'm hungry to be the best human being I can be. Well, Les talks about a story when he wanted to become a disc jockey, and he would be like a lion. He'd be waiting, watching. There was this one guy one time, and he wanted his job as a disc jockey. And this gentleman, for whatever reason, was having a rough night. He had, I guess, had a little bit too much in terms of enjoying his recreational activities, let's just say that. So as Les watched him, and when that guy could no longer continue, Les was ready. He was ready to pounce. And I remember him saying, drink, Rog, drink. Drink, Rog, drink. In other words, go ahead, lose your opportunity. I'm ready to take it. So I hope this helps. Have a good laugh from Les, and remember, stay hungry.
If you are present, if you bring consciousness to bear, you are better at every single thing you do. Understand that, including relationships and finances and every single thing. It's not just sitting in a corner and trying to enter some higher state of consciousness. Bring your awareness of being into the current moment and be present. It sounds good, but to me those are just words and it doesn't really come all the way home. So I'd like to start with an example, because we're not the first people to use the word mindfulness. Let's say you're driving. When you are driving, there are traffic lights, and I don't know if you noticed, but they change sometimes. And it is really important that you know that. You get it? All right? And also, in front of you, there are other drivers, I hope you notice that, and they sometimes step under brakes. And these red lights come on in the back of the car. It's very important that you notice that. It's best that you be mindful when you're driving. When you go to change lanes, are you aware that even if you look in your mirrors that there's a thing called a blind spot? You best be mindful of that. So if somebody's teaching you how to drive, they might use that word. Be mindful of all times of what's going on around you. That is mindfulness too, all right? And it is exactly what we mean by being present in the moment and bringing consciousness to bear, all right? That's kind of neat, isn't it? So you really do know about mindfulness.
Need motivation?
Watch the Top 10 Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because in my first business, I struggled to stay afloat. I quit on my business partner, and the thing that kept me motivated, that kept me going, was studying the stories of famous, successful entrepreneurs. And in their stories, it gave me the hope, the drive, the ambition, the thinking that maybe I can do it too, that extra bit of belief. And I still need their stories today, and I'm honored to share them with you here as well. So today, let's learn from one of the best, Michael A. Singer, and my take on his top 10 rules of success. Enjoy.
What happens if you're driving and you're not mindful? You crash very, very quickly, all right? Aside from the fact that there are lights, there are other cars, there are blind spots, there are these things called curves in the road. It best be that you know that. That's funny, but do you understand what I'm saying? If you don't pay attention to this, if you are not present when you are driving, it will not take 10 seconds before you crash. Do you understand that? You are not, I mean, forget about this, texting and so on, right? I'm just talking about if you're not mindful. Or sometimes I say to people, let's say you're driving and somebody cuts you off. All right? Which is really important when we start talking about mindfulness. It's best that you notice it. All right? Now you're being asked to interact. You're being asked to be present and be present enough to decide what to do. What are your actions? I will ask you, is the amount of mindfulness that you bring to your driving going to affect the quality of your driving? How many tickets you get, how many accidents you get in, and how well you do. Let's say you're a race car driver. Could you use the amount of mindfulness that you bring to driving for driving at Daytona at 180, 200 miles an hour with 15 cars passing you? And the answer is no, you better not. Okay, you best bring a lot more mindfulness to the presence. And what that means as a race car driver, right, is that hopefully there is nothing else going on. You're not thinking about the fight you had with the wife. You're not worrying about this or that. You had best bring your consciousness to bear in what you are doing, or you are in big trouble. All right? But it's not just in driving, because I'm going to put that aside. In that particular case, if you do not be mindful, you're in trouble. Not just as a race car driver, that's required more. So the more, I'm going to argue that the more professional you get and the better you want to do, the more mindfulness you better bring to bear. Is whether you're talking about sports, whether you're talking about driving, right? The more consciousness you bring to bear, I like that term, right? I can use it because we're using examples. Isn't that bringing consciousness to bear in the current moment? The more consciousness you bring to bear in the current moment, the better you are at what you're doing. Anybody want to argue that? Right? Just take the extremes. Don't bring any. Okay?
Rule number 2 is let go of yourself.
Let go of yourself. Let go of yourself. This thing you call yourself, your preferences, your desires, your needs, your bucket list, and so on, is just a projection of the stuff you stored inside. Well, what do you mean? If you didn't have it, you'd be filled with love and filled with light. You wouldn't be asking any questions. You'd love having a child. You'd love bringing it up. You'd enjoy every moment of it. If you homeschool, you don't homeschool, it doesn't make any difference. Everything, because you're fine. And that's the environment they grow up in. How would you like to grow up in an environment where it's just pure love and openness and understanding? If they have a problem, they bring it to you. You don't think, oh my God, what did I do? What's it? You have clarity. You can share with them and help them come to the solution themselves, right? Yeah. So it's a healthy thing because you're healthy. So a parent shouldn't sit there and say, it's so hard to bring up a child. It's hard because you didn't bring yourself up. You didn't let go of your own stuff, right? Yeah. And so there's so many things to learn. Yeah. It's all about you evolving as a being of light, as a being of energy, and keep bringing yourself up and letting go. Then you spread that light everywhere. That takes care of business. Somebody wanted me to, because I did business, I don't do business. Can you give a spiritual talk on business, right? I generally will say no. Right? I don't want to focus like that, right? But the truth is I would give the exact same talk. Right? How do you run a successful business? Let go of yourself. Then you're not making decisions based on your garbage and your fears and your past experiences and all that kind of junk. Yeah. You're bringing good energy into it, and it will attract good energy, and people around you will work with good energy, and they'll enjoy working with you. Yeah. My company, we're technical, high tech. Very few people ever left. They loved working there, right? And I didn't pay them the top salaries either because we're out here in the middle of the woods, right? And basically, you just create an environment for business, an environment for children, an environment for love, an environment for everything you do that brings beauty and love and clarity and selflessness, true selflessness, into your environment. It will change everything.
Rule number 3 is reach a state of happiness.
What is love? Shakti, the energy rising up to the 4th chakra and pouring out the 4th chakra. That's what you call love. And the tuning with somebody who you like. if they talk the way you want, dress the way you want, act the way you want, et cetera, you open. And then the energy can come up and you feel this experience of love. Well, what if you're not closed? What if you never close? Then it's all love. You know what it should take for you to feel love? Anytime you want. Just wave your hand in front of your heart. And bliss pours through your heart all the time, anytime you want. That is what it means to reach a state of happiness, a state of pure, unconditional happiness. It's inside of you. It's available to you.
Rule number 4 is accept challenges.
The challenges of life are amazing. What's wrong with challenges? We play sports, we like challenges. Nobody wants to play a team that you beat 700-1 every time you play them. You want to be challenged. You want to have to bring out the best of your being. If you can get clean inside, where you're not being run by all these past impressions, we call them some scars in yoga, but all these past impressions, which are telling you, and they are telling you constantly, you can only be happy if this happens, and you can never be happy if it doesn't, and you will never be happy if such and such happens. And then you go out into the world chasing this, as opposed to working inside on yourself to say, I don't need those conditions. Life is amazing. I'm sitting on a planet, spinning in the middle of nowheres, and there's all these events happening. Don't worry, they won't last. You're not going to stay here. But while you're here, do you want to run around and fight with life and people and places and things and even the weather to try to make it be what you think you want? Or do you want to work on yourself to clean up this mess inside so you can be open all the time? That's what spirituality is about. It's not about renunciation. Renunciation is too late. You've already decided that you want something, you need it to be happy, but you're not going to do it. Depth, spirituality, is understanding you don't need anything. You don't need anything. Doesn't mean you don't do anything, but you don't need anything. You're whole and complete within yourself. If you open, there is tremendous joy, love, inspiration that wells up inside of you. The moment you open, the moment something happens that you like, watch how fast you feel joy. And if something happens you don't like, watch how fast you close. That is not teaching you about the outside. That's teaching you about the inside. That openness is where it's at. Closedness is not. Openness is what you really want. Because what does opening mean? It's like opening the blinds. If you close the blinds in your house is dark. It's like that chapter in The Untethered Soul, take down the walls. If you close the blinds in your house is dark. Now you have to run around with artificial light trying to figure out how to get some light. If you open the blinds, you don't have to do anything. The light is coming in. But you won't open the blinds until you're sure nobody's out there and only the right people are in your house and everything's exactly what you want. You're afraid to open the blinds. You don't feel comfortable. So you either decide to spend your life trying to build artificial light inside, or you decide to work on yourself so you wouldn't leave the blinds open. Yoga, true spirituality, is about taking off the blinds, take them off the windowsill, throw them out, and never, ever close them ever again. What is the purpose of closing? It makes you sad. It makes you dark. What is depression? Total darkness, total closeness. You have closed off to the flow of the energy. There is no reason for that. There is no excuse for that. This is your world inside. It's your mind. It's your heart. It is your responsibility to not close it.
Here we go. Back to controlling our breathing. Back to controlling our minds. Feel the power of your heart beating faster right now. Your heart. That's the power of determination. Your heart always knows what's best. Your heart can feel and sense things that your mind cannot. That they both need each other equally. Minds, hearts, bodies unite. That energy, our power to determine, that's determination, who we really are. Growing our minds, our bodies, and our energy in the gym of life. Everywhere we go, everywhere we are. greatest gift. You have your presence. With that presence, right here, right now, you can take it, keep using it wherever you go. To get out of your mind, sometimes your mind is playing tricks, lying to you, telling you to be afraid, telling you to give in to fear, to anxiety, to stress, to become sad and depressed. No, that's a lie. We are a determined nation. We're made of truth, like everyone in this universe. Truth principles. And those truth principles, that stuff you're made of, I'm made of, that determination, that never ends. That always chooses courage. That always determines courage, determines faith, determines love, positivity, being kind, generous, being grateful. That's what we were all born to do, no matter what. With that, we can overcome anything our mind tries to do to us. Don't forget, you are the boss of your mind, and your mind is the boss of your body. And so if you control your mind, you will control your body. And more importantly, your feelings. Because your feelings are connected to your thoughts. And you control your thoughts. So if you can control your thoughts, your mind, you can determine to be your true, happy, infinitely intelligent self all the time, not just now.